Good evening, everyone. I will start the meeting. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, good evening and thank you for coming. The first thing on what? Agenda, yes. I want to introduce you all to Ryan Theribold. He's our new selectman. And I believe we'll do the task of swearing him in right now. Why don't you stand up, Ryan? I'm not gonna pay you, I'm just gonna give you swearing. Okay, raise your right hand. I
Brian Tebow,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent upon me as,
all the duties incumbent upon me as a selectman,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeable to the rules and regulations
agreeable to the rules and regulations
of the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire.
of the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Ryan. Okay, we have a full board tonight. So Chief Marique, I believe he's probably running a little bit late. That's all right, he's running a little bit late, so he has a grant that he wants to talk to with us about for the ambulance, the replacement of the ambulance. So without getting into this, I'd really like him to be here to kind of go over it with us before we get into it. Okay, next on the agenda is the board organization and representation to the various towns and committees. So the boards and committees we have, Planning Board, Milton Economic Development Committee, the Budget Committee, Recreation, and the Townhouse Committee. I don't think I left any out. Did I leave anything out? I think that's all of them, correct? Pretty much, yeah. So, Andy, I know you're kind of fond of the recreation. Do you have any problem with that, Ryan?
No.
So this is probably right up your alley, Ryan, if you would do so, is to work on the planning board.
Yep.
Okay. And I think the MEDC is actually should go together. It's the Milton Economic Development Committee. Would you be interested in that too?
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. And if the board didn't mind, I'd like to continue another year on to the Budget Committee.
I have no problem with that.
Okay, great. And the appointment of chair.
Yeah, being the chair, I am gonna miss Tom. There's some big shoes to fill. Tom certainly knew how to run a meeting, and he did a very, very good job of it. And I want to thank Tom again. I think that comes with the chair is a lot of responsibilities, and I will make a motion to have Mike sitting as the chair.
Just before you make that motion, could I say something?
Oh, most definitely. That's fine.
All right, you want to say anything else? Right? I
No,
cut you off.
so the motion on the floor is to make Mike Williams the chair.
I just wanted to bring up a suggestion that I received from a resident that just made a recommendation that maybe we want to consider rotating the board members as being chair, and maybe taking in consideration of the person that's being reelected the following year. That way that person would be kind of showcased for their leadership skills and as a board member, and I just wanted to bring that in front of the board just to mention it. I'm new to the board, so.
I mean, I'll take it out there for conversation. I mean, what do you have?
I think what comes with being the chair is, time on the board and experience. So I said, that's where I feel it should be.
I'm sorry.
Time on the board it gives some experience. When I first sat on this board, I was scared to death. Knew nothing about municipalities, how they worked. So this is my 4th year in, and I've got some time under my saddle. So I would like to accept the chair at this time.
There you go. Thank you.
Don't we need to make a motion and vote?
I did.
We didn't vote, did we?
I made a motion to make Michael you the chair, and Mike seconded it. Am I correct?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
I just
Tom?
didn't hear a second, that's all I was gonna
Oh,
say.
okay.
Thank you. Okay, this is something new too. We'll have a road call. Yes,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
so it's unanimous.
Thank you, though, Ryan, for that. I appreciate it.
What about for the future?
About the question. Was Ed Fish is my name. The question that you asked about rotating the chair of the board, and you said that was from one of the people in town?
Yep.
And was the determination that we wouldn't do that, or that that would be under advisement?
No. I mean, I asked for conversation about it, and, we just,
And that was the conversation?
Well, I think it's a great idea, okay? That way,
Well, actually, Mike, I kind of agree a little bit with what you're saying. You gotta be careful about rotating the board too quickly.
yes.
The membership,
Yeah,
the chairman
yeah,
of the board too quickly.
yeah,
Although it does have merits to bring some different perspective to the chairmanship.
absolutely, yeah,
There is definitely something to be said for not rotating it too quickly.
yes. Thank
So
you.
That's my 2 cents.
So who was it that you got a phone call, or-
That was me.
Okay,
I wasn't gonna
And it
disclose
was-
it unless that person wanted to, so.
It was just a suggestion to highlight the leadership skills of whoever's gonna be elected in 2018.
sure.
You can, and I don't remember who it is. Honestly, I don't remember if it's you or Mike. Both of you have been on the board for, I believe, at least an election cycle, so you've got experience. You
Yeah.
both have experience, so I thought, obviously, you probably wouldn't want to nominate Ryan to be the chairman, or the chairman of the board, but it's just a thought, a way to get whoever's coming up. The big thing was because the chairman of the board is not to put too fancy of a thing on it, but it's sort of a prestigious thing. You're the chairman of the board of selectmen for Milton. So you're kind of like the go-to person. So it would give whoever's going to be elected, like now in 18, a chance to showcase, yes, I was the chairman, these were the things that I accomplished as chairman. And it just sounds good. It's all in perception of how people perceive you're doing the job, that's all. It's just a suggestion.
It involves a
Take or leave
lot
it.
more work,
Oh, it does. Like I
Okay.
said, it was
Number one.
strictly a suggestion,
yeah.
and a way of, maybe not having that person do that work for years and years and years.
Yeah,
Just a thought, just a suggestion, that's all.
and I appreciate that. And just to make it clear, I mean, since we're talking about this, the chairman has no more authority than any one of us. Really, the duties of the chair is to run the meeting.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, like I said, it's a perception thing. It's not
Mhm.
that anybody's got any more clout than anybody else. It's a perception for whoever will be coming up for election in 2009. And it's just a suggestion. You don't do it, my feelings are
No.
hurt. Just a
So it was a great
suggestion.
and I think it ought to be rotated a lot more often than it has been in the past.
Yeah, just a suggestion, that's all.
Yeah.
Like I said, just,
I agree.
for one thing, so whoever's doing it doesn't get burned out.
Yes.
Get tired of being
Yeah.
the go-to person.
Yeah, 'cause it's a
Strictly
lot
a
of work.
suggestion, not gonna hurt my feelings if you don't do it.
And I think really the most important thing, I mean, the chair is basically keeping order to the meeting. There's no additional power there, there's no additional authority there. In my opinion, the most important thing is the ability to maintain the meeting, keep it on schedule, and follow the agenda.
That's it.
You don't make more money?
High paying job. Larry Brown?
I believe, is there not a $500 differential in the pay of the chair?
Don't start, Larry.
No,
No, there isn't, no.
at one time.
Yeah, not now. We all make the same, stipend.
There's, one of the reasons that Harry Truman became vice president, the last vice president under Roosevelt, is the previous vice president had referred to vice president as being worth a bucket of warm spit. At least that's how the phrase has come down. I have full faith that any of you, by observation of the work of the Board of Selectmen, can step up and drink that bucket with equal ability.
Okay.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
A little too much info.
Okay, thank you. We have some requests here. We have 2 of them for the Conservation Commission. We have Cynthia Wyatt requesting to serve another term. I believe that's a 3-year term. Requesting to serve another term. And make no mistake, these volunteers on these committees, they're so valuable. Can't thank them enough for their participation to serve on these committees. So without further ado, I believe we need a motion to accept Cynthia Wyatt's service to the Conservation Commission.
Yeah, I'll make that motion to have Cynthia Wyatt, for her request, to serve another term as the Conservation Commission member.
Did I get a second? Did you second it?
Second.
Okay. Roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so this day, 20th.
Point of order, please.
Go ahead.
Mike, with this air heater behind us and your nice full bushy mustache there, yeah, you gotta throw your voice, man. We can't hear you at all. And I'm only in the second row.
Okay, so will do. Thank you. Yeah, she has to do that.
She does.
Okay, the second volunteer for the Conservation Commission is Paul Blank, right?
Yep.
Okay. Same thing, we want to thank you, Paul, for stepping up and volunteering to be on these committees here, in this case, the Conservation Commission. So I'll entertain a motion to have Paul serve, and it's a 3-year term, Paul?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So I'll make that motion for Paul Blunt, per his request, to renew his term to be on the Conservation Commission.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So it's mine.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Yep.
For all your hard work.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is, thank you, something I just received tonight.
It's the playground.
What's that?
It's the playground. It's the playground. That's an extra thing. Whenever I look at it.
Okay.
Playground.
Okay, I have a selection of the agenda request from the Friends of the Library.
Friends of the Milton Free Public
Free
Library
Public Library,
Incorporated,
that's
yes.
correct. And
Yeah.
I have a Susan Foster Brown here, who would like to talk and chat a bit about it.
Well, I hope this would be the easiest thing you have to deal with for a long time. What we are proposing, and it is only complex because the library is a town-owned building, and as such, we go first to the library trustees, and then getting their approval, we go to the town and the Public Works Department. What we are proposing is some additional replacement playground equipment for the playground at the library. We've been raising money for this for several years since we started having plant sales. And,
Pass it
oh
around.
yeah, you can pass that around so you can see what we're talking about. We are not doing all four of those little rotating whoop-de-doos, just one. We're using the same company that provided the playground equipment at the town beach, so we know that it's good and substantial stuff. And it does cost quite a fortune. We could not begin to even do this with the money that we had raised until the community church, Liberty Chapel, stepped up and donated a very generous sum. And Linda Kane has been coming to all our meetings and doing liaison with the company. And then we had an additional significant donation from us individual citizens. So we have all the money needed to buy this stuff. We have a pledge of volunteer labor, including Liberty Chapel folks and Friends of the Library and spouses. And it should be pretty simple. We don't want to add to the workload of the Buildings and Grounds Committee, you know, the Pat Smith. And we have the money. If we can go ahead, and we have more money than we need. Linda also got a pledge for the specialized sanitized playground mulch, which is more expensive than rubber. I mean, it's incredible, but we have a donation for that as well. And we'd like to get it in place for the spring, but we need your permission, and we need to arrange, delivery would have to be arranged so that it would go to the town garage, just because they're open during the day and the library hours are limited. But that's basically it. If you have any questions, I have probably more detail here than you want.
So there was a cover letter here, would you like me to read this?
If you want me to read the whole thing, I will.
Oh, I could do it, but yeah, please, there's a lot of detail in here.
Yeah, okay, I think I covered it, but we're requesting permission from the selectmen and consent of Buildings and Grounds to install these pieces on the town-owned property to replace equipment lost to age and deterioration. The equipment has a very small footprint and is placed to not interfere with any plumbing or septic locations. We chose it to be as maintenance-free as possible. We have volunteers lined up for installation. We do not wish to add to Buildings and Grounds workload. The idea for this playground renovation goes back many years, where we had plant sales dedicated to raising funds to start a fund to purchase equipment to replace pieces that had deteriorated. In November 2015, Friends of the Milton Free Library accepted a donation on behalf of Liberty Chapel in the amount of $1,000 toward the addition of playground items for children visiting the library. The money was to augment the money raised from several plant sales dedicated to that project. Recently, a gift of $1,000 donated by a local resident gives us a balance of funds necessary to purchase the equipment. The Springmates duck, which replaces, there used to be 3 little spring-type ride-on things there. This is a little duck because we love yellow ducks. And it
It's
costs
springy.
$869. And the 4-foot whirlwind climber is really cool. You climb up on it and you grab on and the whole top rotates. And so we may have kids flying here and there. So, and the freight charge is $175. That comes to $2,786. We're gonna need 6 bags of Quikrete for $34.50. And the playground mulch we are going to get, and the labor as well. Plot plan was created by me on my computer using the information from the company rep with the fall zones indicated, so you can see they don't overlap. You're not gonna have anybody falling off the spring duck into the whirlwind path. And there's still room for the benches, and the swings that are in place have an area that's also demarcated so that they're out of harm's way. Anyway, we really think we have this money on hand, $1,000 from the community church, $1,000 from the local donor, and $1,075 plus 45 cents from the plant sales. So we have $3,075.45 for what is basically under, about $2,800. So I think we're good. We believe the project will augment the library experience for everybody, will provide a better space for the children of Milton Mills in particular, and carries on the happy tradition of community-built playground space for our entire community. Thank you for your consideration of this request, and I think this is where I can see. And it's up to you.
Thank you very much, Suzanne. And it was very generous, and they worked, I know they worked really hard with those plant sales.
Yeah,
Throughout
did
a
you
couple of summers
get some
there.
plants?
Yeah, and who was the local donor, if they didn't mind, they didn't want to stay anonymous?
I didn't ask permission to give the name, so I'm not
Okay,
going to.
okay, so that's good, yeah, and thank the community church there for their donation as well. So, I suspect we would have a motion on the table to,
Now,
create a motion, I'm sorry.
I just like to thank everybody involved for getting to the point we're at here with all the donations and all the hard work to get here. And it sounds like you've been talking with Pat.
Well,
Has
we.
Pat been involved?
Yes, Pat has been
Yeah.
involved.
Okay.
And
Pat's okay with everything.
construction time, everybody's welcome to come up and help.
All right.
Yeah, my only thing, after we get this all said and done, after the motion, we really should have Primex,
They have been
Mhm.
contacted, I have not heard back.
okay.
But they have the plot plan and
Okay.
everything.
All right, yeah, no worries, they should just, like we do our playground here at the town beach, they,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
They sign off on playgrounds.
Yeah. So, that would be my only, concern. But other than that, I'm very happy, for the Milton Free Public Library.
Thanks, Mr. Ross.
So,
Hi, Pastor Kane, Liberty Chapel. In the last 5 years, 6 years, we've seen a really big influx of young families coming to town, and we love it. It's really cleaned up the town a lot, and they're using the library. And my wife came, to me as pastor and said, "Gee, could we do this? It'd be great," because she's been in contact with these ladies for a long time, and she does a lot. So it was really not a hard thing for our congregation to say, fine, and put a monetary amount on it. And so we're really happy to be able to do something for the town of Milton and Milton Mills.
Thank you very much. Also want, the pastor has done more than that as well. In fact, he's donated the church there for our voting every year.
No, that's a different one. That's
This
here.
is in Milton
No, this is in
Mills.
Milton Mills.
Oh, okay, wrong church, sorry.
Yeah.
But thanks.
Yeah.
God won't let me take credit for that, I'm sorry.
You can share it though, right?
Share it. But Mike, along those lines, the Liberty Chapel has been very generous with their fellowship hall when we've needed it, when the library was closed last summer, for instance, or 2 summers ago, for instance.
Right.
That's nice.
Very nice. Hi, Larry.
And there's the, that also came to the trustees, I'm speaking as library trustee, and a long development of what they could do to participate in that structure of play that adds to the get them in the door and get them reading.
Right.
So it's a lovely thing, and it goes back over time to Mary Kitty, who had her
Yeah.
first playground there. And if you go in, you will just see just a plaque of memory for her husband. So it's nice to keep that along. It is my understanding that we're not going to be talking about the memorandum of understanding between the library and the town, but this is of interest to you because it is very much the reason why the trustees have been working with the Friends and why that overview is set up the way it is. And you go right down to the bottom, and you will see that there are dotted lines where there's an internal grant review and assessment for both the library and the town. And you read at the bottom and it says, such budget issues or third-party sourced projects, funds, or grants as may require mutual assessment and action are shown by a dotted line connection. And that's just the kind of community cooperation and interest that is out at the library. Andy and Mike, you have both been, were you as formal as liaison, or did you just show up at meetings? But anyway, thank you for that when we had the construction projects. And this is a wonderful outgrowth. And Linda did a good amount of work in tracking that little yellow ducky down. So if we're not talking about the library, you have to get those papers back at the end of the meeting.
So do you need a motion?
Yeah.
Are you all set, Ryan?
Yep, one, thanks.
Yep.
Involved, I'm good.
So I will make a motion to put additional playground equipment pieces at the present playground at the Milton Free Public Library.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you again. Next on the agenda is the ambassador to the Solar Garden. You know, Mr. Gray has been working on this project for a long time. He's headed it off. There are some things you can pass on, some things not likely to pass on because of the complexity of them. He has all the contacts, and I would tell you the truth, I would be honored for Mr. Gray to continue on with this project, to see it through. Okay, the Milton Board of Selectmen wish to nominate Tom Gray, former chair of the Board of Selectmen, as the BOS ambassador to work on the Solar Garden project. The role is a reflection of the leadership and expertise and knowledge in this area, and a desire to continue moving Milton forward as a municipal solar garden capital of New Hampshire. We look forward to having Mr. Gray report back to the board of selectmen any relevant updates in regards to the solar garden project. It is our desire that Mr. Gray will continue to serve the community in this role. It's I mean this truly. It would be an honor to have Tom see this out.
Glad to do it.
What's that?
I'd be glad to do it.
Thank you, Tom.
So is this on the Lockhart field, Tom?
The Lockhart's the next one, and there's a third one we're in discussion about now.
Thank you, Tom.
So do you need a motion for this? What, Ryan, are you?
Yeah, I'm good with it,
you good
definitely.
with this? So I will make a motion to have Mr. Tom Gray be the Board of Selectmen's ambassador to the work on the solar garden project.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
So, I'd like to go back and have Chief Marique present the grant for the ambulance, the replacement. So I seen your graph here when I got this today, and the total for the ambulance, if I'm not mistaken,
We have to have there's two different things going on. We have to have a public hearing for the grant, so we should probably take care of that first and then talk about that stuff.
okay, so we can open up a public hearing right here now then on March.
It's already posted.
Did you post it?
I put it in the paper.
It's in the paper. It's posted.
Oh, I just posted it.
And it's posted, but yeah, I do put it in the paper. I posted.
Today, a public hearing on the ambulance replacement.
So, we applied for a USDA grant, which is a 15% grant for the replacement of the next ambulance, which equates to $28,500 is what we applied for. There's, the way the USDA grants work, there's two pools of money. There's the federal money distributed down to the state level and then distributed to municipalities. And then there's a federal pool of money. So as this progressed and I realized that we needed to apply for this grant again, I made the contact that I had made last time when we received it in 2012. And they said that the application deadline is a week after I had contacted them, which to get the board approval and signatures, that wasn't practical. However, it's not a hard deadline. The only thing the deadline does is it puts you basically at the back of the list. So everybody that got in at the deadline, they'll go through the grants, award what they can, and at the end, if there's leftover money, we will be eligible for it. If there is no leftover money, we then go to the national pool where there could be money. So essentially, if we end up with New Hampshire money, it'll be sometime in the next month or two. If we end up with national money, it'll be mid to late summer. So that's the gist of the grant. Like I said, we received it on the last ambulance we bought. As long as there's money available, I don't see a reason we won't receive it again, and it's 15%.
Okay. So it wasn't the board's fault that we were late, was it? Did we miss something, or?
Nope, it's not a published deadline, and when I called to inquire what the status in the time frame and how we're going about this, it was just
Sure.
too short to the deadline to get in immediately. It wasn't anybody's fault at all.
So you need a motion for this grant, the USDA?
No.
No.
You guys already signed everything. We were here 2 weeks ago. This is a formality to have a public hearing to accept it, because you need the public's input. When we had the meeting that you guys signed off on it, it wasn't a posted public meeting. It wasn't a posted public hearing. It's a public meeting. So this is, the next step is a public hearing to get the public's input on the grant and make sure everybody's aware and they don't have any questions.
That's where I put it in the paper.
All right, yeah, yeah. Bob?
Nick, when are you planning to get another ambulance?
Well, the next thing that Mike's gonna get into is my request to put the ambulance out to bid. So we'd like to start the process now. If we start it now, we're talking late November, December, depending on who wins the bid as far as arrival.
Okay, you said 25,000 going towards the revolving fund for the ambulance?
The grant money?
Yes. Is that going, I don't know what you got for your revolving fund for your ambulance. I don't know how much you got in there, but is that gonna be an offset from that?
It's gonna be an offset on that, yes. Yep.
Do you have the total what you have right now for your ambulance?
Yes, it's about 207,000, I think, is the latest number. And that's not a hard, solid number,
Okay.
but it's ballpark.
Okay.
It changes weekly.
Okay, so what do you, if you get the other ambulance, what are you gonna do with this other one that you have?
The newest, the one we got in
The one
2000,
now, the
the one we
newest
had in 2000, the one we purchased in 2012,
Yeah.
will go to reserve. The one from 2003 will be traded in or sold, but that's also to be discussed later.
Okay, now they got a copy, can I get a copy of what they just received for the budget committee?
No, it's not a budget committee issue
Oh, well, it's just,
at this point.
okay. That's it, Mike.
Keep in mind that the town still owes fire station $77,000. So.
Revolving account, not the fire
Yeah.
station.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
So just
So-
for everybody that probably isn't familiar with the history, and again, my dates are gonna be off, but probably 10 years ago, the town set up a special revenue account where all the ambulance money was going to go into it. For some reason, $100,000 plus or minus went into the general fund instead of to the account that the voters decided it was supposed to go into. That got picked up in an audit several years ago, and the money has yet to be transferred into the revolving account. It's still outstanding, it's documented, we all know how much it is and everything, it's just a matter of transferring the money at the appropriate time.
Well, we paid 25,000.
Paid 25,000 back last year.
Yeah, and that was also, there was the Conservation Commission that was owed money too. So we had opted to start with the Conservation Commission and at $25,000 at a time, pay it down. Then we went to the fire department for their ambulance fund. So and that's where we're at this point now. So this is the white ambulance, the old one, right?
Is the one that's,
Yeah.
I guess, just a matter of formality, and again, this isn't my area of expertise, but where this is a public hearing about the grant, do we want to deal with the public's comments about the grant, and then we'll get into that stuff again?
Sure.
Tom has his hand up.
You keep saying this is a public hearing about the grant. It hasn't been posted as a public hearing. You have to post it on the agenda as a public hearing for today.
It was
If it was a
posted,
public hearing, and you have to open up as a public hearing.
it was, Tom?
It might have been posted in the paper, I'm saying on the agenda, it's gotta say public hearing.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, it doesn't say that, it does. So it means the public wasn't noticed that there's gonna be a public hearing today.
Should we do
Post-
it again then?
I think you should post it again and have,
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, is this gonna set you back?
No, like I said,
For
we
your
have,
grant?
this is a formality before we accept the money. Do we have to have this? And we won't have the money minimum for a month from now. And then it'll just hold up the money if for some reason we don't get a public hearing in by that point. So it's, I'd rather have it done right than have to think we did it and then realize it wasn't, which is fine.
Right.
Okay, so do you wanna put on the April 3rd again? We'll just
April
re-advertise.
3rd, yeah.
That doesn't give us enough, that doesn't give us 10 days to get it posted in the paper.
That's the problem, because I posted it for 10 days in the paper.
Right.
Well, so
Which-
how many days do we have to have it posted outside?
It needs to be
Is it
posted 10 days.
10 days.
Prior to the meeting, so if we post it and then the next meeting in April, it's fine.
The
It's
third.
not a big deal, I'd rather have it done right.
Sure,
Okay.
so
I'm
the
glad
third
Tom brought it
meeting
up.
in
So, okay, so let's see.
17.
Okay, so post it again for that.
Sorry about that, chief.
It's all good.
Didn't catch that.
Good,
I
Tom.
didn't catch any agenda.
I'm not 100% positive, but I think you also have to have two public hearings.
Bet this
The
one
first
said
one,
one.
I think 14 days between the two.
That's for a lot of, this grant I only saw one.
USDA
Might wanna-
specifically
might wanna
told me
double-
what needed to happen.
Yeah,
That
we'll
wasn't-
double check it just to
Yeah,
make
might
sure.
wanna double check it, just to
Yeah.
be sure.
That's fine, I'll do
Okay.
that.
But it said one, it's in the paperwork you gave me.
It did, but, well, I'll
Well,
call
we
her
don't-
and verify.
Okay,
Redouble check. I'll tell
Okay.
her there's a speed bump and we're working on it, so.
all right.
Okay.
And now go to your chart and ask me all the questions you want.
So on the chart here, so the new ambulance is $225,000.
Correct.
The cardiac monitor, 27.5, stretcher, 10,000.
Yep.
So a total of 262,500.
That's what I expect to expend over the next year.
Right,
3 separate items,
right, okay,
and not one is contingent on any of the others.
okay.
But
But most importantly, the ambulance itself.
we need to get the ambulance going So, because it takes 200+ days
Yeah,
to.
otherwise you don't have nothing to put the stretcher in, right?
It's one of those things where we have a manual stretcher and a hydraulic stretcher. Obviously, they're expensive. That's a refurbished one too. When we bought the hydraulic stretcher that we currently have, it was prior to 2000, it was probably 2010, and it was probably $12,000. Now a brand new one is upwards of $19,000, and I just can't justify that amount of money for the backup ambulance, for the backup stretcher. So obviously they would move down.
Sure.
And we'd end up with a new one on the newer truck.
And you
And
were
the
right.
cardiac monitor, we replaced one 5 years ago. To keep them rotating, we don't want them over 10 years old.
Right.
So the one on the older ambulance is nearing that age. If it's probably beyond that, to be honest with you. So it's time to replace that so they stay on a 5-year cycle. And that'll also give us the ability to send EKGs to the hospitals from both trucks instead of just one.
Nice.
As well as a slew of other differences between the two things, which, that's why I brought that guy if you really want to know.
Yeah. He's the guru, right? Yeah.
So that's my total planned amount of money between now and November, December
Right,
of next year.
yeah.
So if we go down below into the next chart, it gives you several different options. If we get the grant, if we don't
See
get the
that,
grant,
yeah.
so on and so forth. So I'm kind of looking at number 4,
That's what I was looking at.
which is hopefully we get the grant money.
Yeah,
And then, actually, sorry, number 5. And then you reimburse $50,000 this year, which will keep us with a balance of about $42,000 in that account, which I feel comfortable with to operate. Obviously, if we don't get the grant, there's still options to make this all work. It's not as financially feasible, but it can still happen. And the reason I wanted to show you all this is basically to ensure you that no matter what happens, we have the money or means to make the money to put the ambulance out to bid now. It's not
Right.
contingent on us getting this grant,
Right.
although it's gonna make it.
is that why you mentioned your monthly revenues? Anticipating
Yep,
the
so
monthly expenses?
monthly revenue, we usually bring in 13.5 a month. We spend about 4,500 a month, and I'm being conservative here.
Right.
Because if we have a bad month, it's gonna throw this all off. So I
Well,
expect.
actually, a bad month is a good month.
A bad
right?
month is a good month.
Right.
So I expect that between now and then, we'll be able to put another $36,000 towards this ambulance if we stay on the trend that we're on for the last year.
Sure.
And that's all taken into account. The other thing that I took into account was the trade value of the current ambulance.
Yeah,
I was thinking we were gonna get 10,000. I got an email back from one company that said probably 5,000. Again, it's gonna depend on the bids. I personally think that ambulance is worth more than 5,000, so I'd like to figure out a way that we could maybe try to private sale it, but we really need to make sure the money goes towards offsetting the cost of the new ambulance.
right, yeah.
So that's.
But you
that's
can't
one-
put it up for bid right now, but you, otherwise you'd be down an ambulance.
Right, but we can put it on MRI, for example, and say available January 2017.
Sure.
And see if a private ambulance company or somebody that has a multitude of ambulances that basically just put money into them instead of buying new ones, is interested.
What is MRI, just so everybody knows?
It's not MRI, it's the municipal website there.
Yeah. It's New Hampshire MA, New Hampshire Municipal Association, they have a website where they list,
Never
municipal.
been on that,
equipment.
yeah.
So the 1994 that we got rid of in 2012
Yeah,
was in far worse shape than the 2003 that we're gonna be getting rid of, and they gave us $5,000 for that. After a certain amount of time, there's no value in an ambulance whatsoever. Maybe we can get more through a different avenue as
Sure.
opposed to trading it in.
Yeah.
But even looking through websites that sell used ambulances, the only thing you see on the market is like 97 or newer, and they're going for 20,000. So there's not a lot of wiggle room, but
Yeah.
I'd like to try to get more than 5.
yeah.
So that's one aspect of all this. The other aspect, just to put it in perspective, by probably the end of spring or sometime this spring, the new ambulance is gonna have more mileage and hours than the old ambulance, which is an indication to me that it's time to rotate them so that that new ambulance has a longer reserve life. Because if we run it into the ground in the next 2 years, then it's gonna be an unreliable reserve truck. And the more and more time goes on, our call volume goes up, and that reserve truck is not only getting used because no modern vehicle can make it more than a year without being in the garage for 3 weeks. At least that's our history with ambulances. And they're getting used more simultaneously.
Notice also you had a cover letter in front of that kind of describes the ambulance that you would like to get.
Yep.
And the second paragraph, do you mind if I read that?
Go ahead.
Okay. So after much review and discussion, the department has decided that the Ford F-450 4x4 diesel ambulance is the right vehicle for the town of Milton. Currently, a diesel engine is not available in the traditional van style ambulance. Historically, the 4x4 style ambulance was not an option for the department due to the size and restrictions imposed on us by the old station. With our size restriction removed and the unavailability of diesel engines in that style van classic, we feel that this type of ambulance is the right decision for the town of Milton.
And that wasn't an easy decision to come by because it's obviously more money to upgrade to a diesel, and then you add the four-wheel drive, it's gonna be more money.
Right.
But I think for longevity, in our history, in talking to other people that have the gas motors, 2012 probably, the diesels came out of the Fords, the gases went in. Some departments have had okay luck with them, others have had a lot of problems with them. City of Dover, which runs an ambulance far more than we do, bought a gas, and then they reverted back to the truck chassis diesel the last time. So that's kind of an indication to me that maybe they're not holding up as well as they should. The other thing on the van chassis is we go through tires like they're going out of style. And that to me is another indication that they're not necessarily designed for our roads and they don't hold up very well. So I'd like to try it. I think I can justify the extra cost, and we have the money in the revolving account, which is from ambulance revenue. So
Sure.
I think it's an appropriate way to spend the money.
I agree. You know, and if anybody has any mechanical knowledge at all, knowing that diesel motors have a higher mile rate than gasoline motors, number one. Number two, this isn't just an ambulance for the fire department or the rescue. It's for the town of Milton, the people of Milton here.
So I think that coupled with, we don't have to have on spots if we get the four-wheel drive. We've had a lot of problems with the on spots, dragging. If anybody follows the ambulance, they can see the sparks underneath because they're just a maintenance nightmare.
Right.
So I think it's an avenue that we need to explore, and that's my request is to allow you guys, or allow us to put it out to bid and get the project going.
Sure. Good say, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're just putting out to bid to see what we get back.
Yep. And like I said, we worked with the company that we bought our last ambulance from. That way there we have a ballpark, we know where we're at. It's gonna give us the ability to have the specifications. We'll send it out, put it out to everybody, put it out for whatever you guys think, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, see what comes back, and obviously, before anything is decided, it has to be brought to you guys to award the bid, so.
Right.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion, to allow the, Milton Fire Rescue, to prepare bid documents and, for the, new ambulance, and give them permission to, solicit the proposals.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay. Thanks, Nick.
And then I will also, work on some, other alternatives for, the old equipment. And that's gonna come along with the rescue, the utility truck too, when we get ready to do that. Trade value versus, private sale.
Is there any outfitting you have to do when you get the new ambulance?
Radios aren't included in this.
So can we use the ones out of the old ambulance in it?
I don't know.
I'll gotta talk to Justin about that. Yeah, I'm thinking,
Shaking his head,
yeah, I'm
no.
thinking not.
Yeah,
So-
no.
The 13 years old.
Yeah.
Those are actually older than that, the mobile radios, so.
2006.
Okay, so yeah, 11 years old, but
Yeah.
they're not supported as of,
2 years ago.
so again, new equipment, I'd like to start replacing the mobile radios. I know we just got the town meeting approval for the portables,
Yep,
but the mobiles are another issue. I think I'm just gonna, again, try to crutch them along and then replace them as the vehicles get replaced. And
Sure.
work through the budget process.
okay,
There's not as many, it's not as much, still a lot of money,
yeah,
so that's my
Alright.
plan.
thanks, Nick.
Any questions?
Okay, next, have the approval of the minutes. I'd like to point out to the board that the February 27th has been amended.
On Mr. Pay's name?
No, at the very last page, there was something that was left out. It was mentioned that on the very last page was left out, so it's been amended. They put him in there. Yeah. Okay? Okay.
I'll abstain from this. Since,
Correct, yeah. So, you make a motion to,
Is this on the February 27th?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to, for the February 27th Milton meeting minutes.
As amended.
Yeah, as amended.
Okay, have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Want to sign these first before we go off the... Thank you. Okay.
So,
There was a correction, it was a spelling.
so are you all set, Mike,
Yes.
with the March 6th? So I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for March 6th, 2017 as accepted.
All right, second it, and all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Rawson.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is the administrator's comments.
Okay. I have several things. I just wanted to bring up that the auditors made their first visit here Friday. So we were pretty busy on Friday gathering paperwork. I know I didn't bother my favorite department heads for information. Sorry about that, guys. Just to make sure that the auditors have everything they need. They'll be coming back again for the entire week of April 10th. So I'll be a pest again that week. What else do we have? I have a letter from our town moderator and our town clerk that they've asked me to read into the record. It says, "Gentlemen, this is a letter of thanks. We would like to express our gratitude for your assistance at the general election. We would like to recognize the following individuals for making our process such a great success. Pastor Whedon of the Milton Assembly of God Church. Ballot clerks Robert Graham, Elizabeth Roy, Bonnie Dutton, Annie Joes, David King, and Jan Oxton. Supervisors of the checklist, Karen Brown, Robert Ferris, and Brittany Leach. Highway Department, Bill Willis and Dustin Nason. Police Department, Chief Richard Kraus, Tom Hebert, Nicholas Nurjanakis, and Carrie Driscoll. School District, Laura Noseworthy, Timothy Long, David Shute, and Stephanie Berry. The Milton Place School Program. The decision to delay Milton's election to Thursday, March 16th was based on concern over public safety for voters and election workers. We received many thanks and support from the voters for moving the election. As always, elections are a team effort, and wish to thank those who made it happen and those that voted. Sincerely, Michelle Beauchamp and Chris Jacobs. Next, I have a letter from our welfare director. She asked me to read into the record. And this is to Terry Brewer, 4-H Group, who actually are located in Farmington. On behalf of the Town Welfare Department, I'd like to thank you for your donation of the 6 homeless bags to tent to coat a sleeping mat. Your generous support helps us continue in our mission to assist homeless residents in our community. The generous support of individuals and groups like you make it possible for our organization to continue to help those in need and make our community a great place to live. Thank you for your support, and that's from Rachel. So I think we all should say thank you to them for doing that.
Absolutely.
And then finally, last week we had a meeting with Underwood Engineers about the Townhouse Road Culvert Program. And Chief Kraus, Chief Marie, Pat Smith, and there was somebody else there, and the engineers, and Butch too, right? And so the project, they put together they had a 99% design meeting on the 16th. And then the project manual's been put together. And Pat had asked me to bring this to your attention for tonight. We have some dates and deadlines and to get some feedback from you on this. The first thing, we're gonna advertise for bids and publish, we're thinking Sunday, March 26th in the Union Leader, and then, and also do the paper again on Wednesday, or do paper Wednesday the 22nd too. The pre-bid date, we'll have a meeting here at the town offices with the contractors, will be April 11th at 8 a.m. That has nothing to do with the Board of Selectmen. The key here is I need to get from you is the open bids. The contractor suggested April 25th at the town offices. They wanted 2 o'clock. I'm wondering, I think that's early. So maybe 4 o'clock, because the selectmen have to open the bids.
What day is that?
April 25th, I think it's a Tuesday.
And you need the board here?
To open the bids.
Yeah, not at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Me anyway.
Well, can you be here, Ryan? I mean, if you have a quorum.
Yeah.
4 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should be able
It's
to
a
do that.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 o'clock? This is something I need to figure
Is that all right, Mike?
Oh, yeah,
So I can
I
have
just
a-
can't make it, that's all.
Yeah.
But I can have a quorum at 4 o'clock, okay. The construction notice to proceed would be August and September for low flow anticipated. Keep it open for the contractor's option. The other piece that I need to get resolved tonight for this all to happen, actually there's 2 pieces. One is, we're gonna need to have a public meeting 1 month prior to the start of construction, but it cannot be a selectmen's meeting. And it'll usually be about 2 hours from 6 to 8 p.m. So when we get a little bit further down the road, I'll need to schedule that with you, so start thinking of a night that's good. We need to know who will sign the contract documents for the town. And basically that should be Pat Smith, but you need to appoint him to do that, because there's gonna be a lot of documents coming through. So I needed a motion to appoint Pat Smith to sign contracts for the Townhouse Road Culvert Program project.
I'll make that motion so said. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Are you fine with that?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
And then my other things going forward is I wanted to know if we could schedule a couple things, housekeeping things for the next meeting, April 3rd. Jim Sesser would like to come and go over some of our projects and our properties that we own in town.
Is that the workshop on the 27th?
No, April 3rd.
Okay.
It's April 3rd. We have to talk about the other one. April 3rd, so is that all right to schedule that with Jim?
Sure.
Okay. And then Andrew Keller would like to come talk about Solar Gardens that night?
Will you be here, Tom?
I can be.
Thank you.
Third.
April 3rd, yeah.
Heather, shoot me an email to remind me, please.
I will.
Thank you.
I'll track you down.
I know.
Okay. So if we could do that that would be very helpful. And then if we can talk about the MOU you received at that time too, on April 3rd.
Okay.
That's what I have tonight.
Hey, now we're on to selectmen's comments. Ryan?
All right. Well, first, I just want to thank everybody for the support on Election Day and giving me the opportunity to serve as selectman on the Board of Selectmen in Milton. I appreciate it and look forward to it. I look forward to working together with everybody as a team. And it's gonna be a little bit of a learning curve for me. This is something new, and I'm hoping that everybody's gonna continue to support me throughout this. Second, actually, Andy, I had a question for you.
Mhm.
This was brought up by somebody in town. The Lake Host program, is that something that's
Well,
been applied for?
unfortunately, we sat down with Karen, with Sean Skillens, he's here, tonight. Unfortunately, the Lake House, program has become more stern. First of all, it's only $1,000 grant, and it's a $300 application fee. So more or less, we would have gotten $700. So we're looking at different avenues we're gonna have a very good, this year we're gonna have a very good, boat wash station regardless. But Heather and I are working on some different avenues to get some resources to help with this project. But unfortunately, that grant, it was just, and you know, with that being said, the TPPA haven't been doing that grant because of the stiff stipulations that they have to go through to get the grant, and it was just drying up every year, less and less funds. It started off at like, I don't know, 3,500, and the last time they got the grant, because they used to do this grant, it was like $1,000, Bob said. So unfortunately, that we're not going to be able to do that this year.
Okay.
But we are going to be looking at some different avenues. Heather and I have been talking. So, but I appreciate you bringing that up. I was actually going to bring it up, but it's cool.
Thanks. Next question now, actually, for Heather. The bookkeeper job, the applications that we submitted by today, right?
I gave you all a packet.
Okay,
In the packet, there are 6 applications.
okay. What is the plan for?
We're gonna have a
This.
workshop on the 27th
Okay.
for us to sit down here, and I believe Mr. Cecil's gonna be here too, right?
Not on the 27th, but on the 3rd.
Can he be here on the 27th?
If you need him.
Yeah.
I
And
can
we-
ask him. I don't know if you can, but I'll ask him.
Okay, to go over all the resumes that came in.
So who's gonna be in this workshop?
Wait a minute.
Well, with all due respect, I don't think we really need the attorney here to go over applications.
Okay.
I mean, that's my only personal opinion. I think we should
Yeah.
be good with having Cecil here to go over applications for a bookkeeper. But, you know, whatever you guys want.
Historically, how have we done it?
We've had workshops with reviewing resumes.
No, that's not accurate. Typically, the way it works is the department head sets a committee to look at, not any department head, look at the applications, interview the applicants, and then they bring the suggestion to the Board of Selectmen.
So that would be Heather.
That would be Heather in this case.
Yeah.
In this case, so, you know, for all.
Well, she would still bring all the resumes, but she would bring her recommendations, right?
She'd bring her recommendation.
Yeah.
And, you know, she should look at, set up a committee of people that are more apt to work with the bookkeeper.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with doing it that way if you want to. I mean, if you want to go through the process, maybe you can ask Joanne.
I'm just gonna ask Joanne.
She would be a viable candidate to sit on that
Absolutely.
board, where she is, you know, a financial advisor anyways. For her to sit on that board with you, go through the applications, you know, beat them out, and then whatever you find, you know, whatever your conclusion is, then you can bring them back to us. So it's a big elimination of us getting involved.
I think that's, I like the sounds of that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good
How many,
idea.
how many,
There's 6 total. There's 6 total. Do you want me to go through the process doing the first interviews with Joanne?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I
It's
think
up, it's
that's-
up to you two. I'm
I
fine.
agree with that.
Okay.
And I don't know if you wanna bring somebody else on board too.
Is there somebody else you want me to bring on board?
I mean, I'm happy with Joanne. She's a very bright lady. I mean, unless there's somebody else that you might want to sit
no, I
on.
was gonna suggest Joanne as well.
Unless
So
there's
that's what
somebody
you want?
else that you want to sit on with you. If you want maybe the chief, it's up to you guys. If he wants to sit on the board, that's fine with me, or whatever.
Chief?
Doesn't matter to me if that's a request from you guys that you want me to sit on a board to look at 6 applications, that's fine.
I don't think that's necessary,
No,
really.
well, it's up to him.
Yeah.
I said, if he wants.
If you're looking, normally that's how it would be done. Each department would have a board of what is usually their employees that'll look at the applications, look at the hiring process. It will then go to the department head. The department head makes the final decision on the candidate they want to bring in front of the board. The board wouldn't normally see any of the other applications except for the one that's presented by that department head. And the department head would have the reason why they chose that candidate over every other candidate that may have applied. So the board wouldn't actually get the resumes for any of those candidates other than the one that is presented to the board from the department head.
Is there any reason why we wouldn't get all the resumes to look over?
There,
I mean, we'll have her recommendations anyway there.
because the department head is the one making the recommendation on which candidate is the best.
Right.
Please don't take this offensively, but you guys are not gonna have the expertise and knowledge on looking at those resumes on what is necessary to pull out on a candidate that may be the best candidate for that department. That's why they pick a group of people to be on that board that are going to have that expertise to be able to pick out things in resumes and the interview process to go through that.
That makes sense, because essentially if, I mean, we get every application of anybody that ever applied for a town job.
If you guys got every
if we-
application
right.
that applied for a police department, since I've been chief or I've been in the police department, you guys would, your head would be spinning on the number of applications you would have to look at. Just the process that I'm gonna be running next month in April, there's 127 letters we're gonna send out, so we're probably gonna get 120 resumes. I don't think you guys wanna look at 120 resumes of police candidates for me to come back
No.
and tell you that I have 2 options that I'd like you to choose from.
No, I'm fine with doing it the way I just said, actually.
And I just got one other question, and just because I'm new to this, oh, go.
Well, I know Mike had suggested doing a workshop, so we're not gonna do the workshop. I just wanna be clear on what I'm doing, so I will sit down with Joanne on Friday, go through the resumes, rank them, schedule interviews, meet with the interviewees, and then we'll come back and I'll ask Joanne to come in too. The 2 of us will meet with you in non-public to make our recommendation. Is that what we're talking about?
I'm happy, I'm fine with that.
I agree with that.
Are you all right with that, Mike?
I guess, yeah. Yeah.
It's the way it needs to be.
Now, I just got one other question on this, and maybe there's a policy that addresses this. Do we do background checks?
We
Is
should
that a
be doing
requirement,
background
or
checks.
is,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's probably where the chief come in.
Yeah, especially for the bookkeeper.
Yeah.
We're talking about a lot of money that the
Yep.
person would be,
She's
And I-
viable. She's,
yeah, a thorough background check.
It's usually part of the process.
yeah.
Okay.
So that would probably why we'd have choice 1 and 2, just in case.
All right.
Can I just ask a question about your process? So you screen 6 applicants, do you interview all 6 applicants?
We haven't decided yet, because we just talked about it, I don't know. I'm gonna
Okay,
talk.
and your screening process of the applicants, Joanne, you referred to somebody named Joanne,
Yeah.
so the individuals
She's
that.
a contracted, she's contracted service.
For, in the financial.
Yes.
Realm, so the people that are looking at the resumes, have accounting, bookkeeping, financial
Oh,
background that can
The lady that's gonna
determine?
sit on the board, she's actually, she has, I mean, we could get you her credentials. They're well and
Oh,
beyond.
I'm not doubting that, I'm just,
Yeah.
generally, I'm just wondering if you haven't, people, because people have different opinions, if you have other bookkeepers, accountants, treasurers that would have the expertise to also screen the applications to make a
Should be part of that
consensus
process, yeah.
selection, rather than just have one person looking at them.
No, she's
Suggestion.
gonna be part of that screening process with Heather.
And she has a bookkeeping background?
Oh, yeah, very extensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, she's contracted services right now, in absence of a bookkeeper. She's been coming in weekly to do our books.
Heather has the,
No,
My
the-
undergraduate-
Joanne.
Excuse me, my undergraduate degree is in business,
okay.
and I spent 2 years as an accounting major, then I transferred to
No,
human
I'm
resource
not
major,
doubting
so
your
yeah,
credentials, I'm
so-
just saying the people that should be looking at that, whether it be for a bookkeeper or a police officer, should have that some of that expertise
And I
on the
taught-
screening application.
And I taught business education at the college level, so.
No, Joanne is, her criteria, her credentials are well and beyond, she's capable of, or I wouldn't ask her to sit on the board, to do it.
No, I trust you.
Yeah.
I trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
just
no, I
gathering
just
information.
wanna make that clear to everybody, actually, not, yeah, it's a good question, so.
Is this the same way it was done last time?
For,
The past?
well,
Yes.
yes,
It is?
yes, actually.
Well, didn't they have a problem with that bookkeeper?
Well, no, I mean, I can't really speak to it, but, no, I mean, she,
It's a
You
personal.
mean the past?
Yeah,
We
it's
can't
a
talk about
personal-
personnel
yeah.
matters,
Pardon me?
we can't talk about personnel matters.
yeah.
Well, I guess my concern is if, since we're looking for a new person, obviously the last one didn't work out, or something. So if the same people are interviewing the same way, I
Well, I'd be
I
new,
kinda
I'd
would
be
like to
new,
see someone else.
I'm the new face, and there would be some other people involved.
Oh, that's good then, that's what I was wondering, okay,
I was involved last time.
okay.
I mean, even if you want, well, no, never mind.
I know what you mean.
No, I was gonna ask,
I know,
never
don't.
mind.
I know what you mean.
No. So, anyways. Did you have a question?
But just, Larry Brown, if I remember correctly, Joanne Smith presently has the title of Director of Financial Services
Mhm.
for the town. It's an extant position. She had oversight, review, and I believe she is also the author of a major software program which is used for municipal finance in at least 6 jurisdictions in the state, possibly 20. So she is more than competent to understand.
Yeah.
She's great.
bookkeeping.
No, we're very fortunate to have Joanne, so.
In fact, didn't she develop the MuniSmart?
That's what he just.
Yeah. Well, I meant she developed it, right?
Yeah.
All right, a couple more things and then I'll be done.
Is that good though, Ryan?
Yeah, yep, thank you. Now, the next thing I'm gonna request is gonna sound a little harsh and it's not meant to. It's just, I wanna be very clear to everybody that I wanna do the absolute best I can to follow all the laws and rules, especially RSA 91A. So, I'm gonna make the request of both Mike and Andy that please do not pull in my driveway just to say hi, do not stop by my house. I just wanna make sure
You don't have to worry about that.
there's
Ryan.
no indications that we might be talking outside, and I just wanna put that out there. It's not meant to cause any problems or point any fingers, but I just wanna be upfront and open about that, so.
Very good. I take it under advisement.
What if they wanna buy one of your cars?
I have to wait till I'm off the board. Another thing that I just wanna bring up and would like you guys to take some time to think about.
Keep talking. Scared enough to rip that microphone off there.
Thanks. Is a couple meetings ago at the February 27th meeting, there were several things that came up. There were several things that different people said they would take under consideration of doing. I haven't seen any actions on any of those things, so I just would like you guys to keep that in the back of your mind for the next meeting and see how we can move forward. And then just lastly, I want to thank everybody again for the opportunity of serving on the Board of Selectmen.
Okay. Edit?
You all set?
That's it.
Okay, I just want to thank the Milton Assembly. I know we already thanked them, but the Milton Assembly of God, the church, for hosting the town elections. It's you know, a perfect place to have the elections down there with all the parking and the building is fits well. So again, I just want to thank the folks at the Milton Assembly of God. Then I want to welcome everyone to the first day of spring, because today is the first day of spring, and it was very nice outside. So with that being said, I also want to congratulate Ryan for your winning the election.
Thank you.
And you know, and I want to give you a warm welcome, and I look forward to working with you and moving the town of Milton forward in the right direction, as we all should be doing. You know, we have a very important job here to do, and we need to do it. We have a lot of work to do this year, I could name off a bunch of projects, but we all know what some of them are. Handbook is huge. New employee handbook we have to get to work on, and hopefully we are going to be having the fire station. Someone looking at the fire station this Thursday to upgrade the tax card on it to see what, you know, exactly what it might be worth, so we could, you know, possibly get that sold or get it onto the market. Moving forward, hopefully we'll be able to have maybe another town auction. I'm just shop talk, because we do have some properties coming up. So that's something to look forward to, maybe this spring. Earth Day cleanup is April 22nd. I just wanted to throw that out there. So it's coming up in you know, maybe close to a month, but it's from 9 to 12. Down at the DPW, that's where everybody would congregate, and then you would pick your spot and go pick the roads up. So that's coming up on April 22nd. I do want to thank the Public Works for doing a great job on the nor'easter, for getting the roads plowed, and getting the sidewalks, you know, plowed in a timely fashion. It's a huge job. And I also want to thank you know, our police and fire for anything they had to do during the nor'easter. So I think that's what I got this week.
Very good, Mr. Rawson.
Hold on, we'll get to you.
Public comment, yeah. So you stole most of everything that I was gonna say, but it's getting it out there is more important. So, next is our traditional coffee with the selectmen, Dunkin' Donuts, and I guess I'm next. So,
No, actually, Ryan is.
oh, Ryan, you're up next?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a new guy. So you wanna set a date this month, usually we have it on a Saturday, you can make it.
I don't want to set a date quite yet. Next
When-
meeting I will
Yeah, whenever
take
you're
that
ready.
under
Yeah.
advisement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody is welcome to contact me via my phone or email.
Like I said, they took a lot of my wind out of my sail, Andy, but again, getting the word out there is more important. So next on the agenda, we have public comment. Ms. Baker.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know, also on April 3rd, you should be getting bids for the second phase of the LCHIP at the library.
Oh,
We
sure.
already had a bid notice go out into the Fosters and the union leader, and Pat and John will be going to the library Thursday afternoon to meet with contractors to talk specifics about the job, and hopefully we'll get this
Yeah,
going.
you know what the job entails?
What the job entails?
what
We
scope?
have a scope of work, and we have one meeting with the contractors who are interested. This is the
Yeah.
way the bid notice was written, that any contractors that are interested to come to this meeting on the 23rd, which is Thursday, get a copy of the scope of work, talk a little bit about prioritizing and scheduling.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. John?
To answer your question, Mike, phase 2, meaning the upper level of the library
Yep,
and the tower.
okay. Thank you, John.
Matt, did you have something?
Yeah, you brought up the nor'easter, plowing the roads and stuff like that. How come we have the grader just sitting there and not being used? What is it, like, has anybody thought or considered, like, outfitting it with a plow and wing like other towns do around the state? And
Well-
there's another plow vehicle right there.
You know, Pat's not here to answer that question.
Yeah, Pat looked into it, but I don't know,
Yeah.
there must be a reason, Pat, she's
Yeah,
pretty good.
I
at these
mean,
things.
there was, you know, I personally think that, you know, we have enough, you know, we have, what?
The chief had a.
Oh, go ahead, chief.
I'm guessing it's gonna be manpower, cause all of his trucks that are out plowing
Yeah.
are used by all of his staff, including Public Works Director Pat Smith is out plowing as well.
You just took
So it's a
kind
manpower
of the
issue.
words right out of my mouth, because, you know, we have 4 plow trucks, we barely can keep those seats full. We are right now, but, you know, and plus, you know, we really utilize that. I mean, we utilize it a little bit for hard pack on the roads. If, you know, we get hard pack, I've seen it actually go by my house. But they really utilize that, you know, in the summer for grading the dirt roads. But if he needs to use it in the winter, I know he does. It just doesn't have a plow and a wing on it.
Yeah, it's just a question, man.
No.
I have enough plowing on my own to worry about, so I was just curious.
Yeah, no,
That's all,
no,
just a thought.
it's a great question.
And Ryan, if you could pick a date that doesn't involve any snow for your selectmen's meeting down there.
I hope we're past most of the snow now.
Don't say that too loud.
You want to know, Chief?
On April 29th, we're gonna be doing the National Drug Take Back Day again. It's for any prescription drugs that residents need to dispose of. They can bring it to the police department, and we will take care of disposal for them.
Will you be using that machine, that burner?
No, we
How-
do it with the DEA.
Okay.
So we take custody of them, then we transfer them to the DEA and they dispose of it.
Thank you, Chief. Anyone else? Tom McDougal?
Now that the article's actually passed, there was an article for the step plan. And my question is this, and it's more of a general question. I'll pick on the Public Works Director because it came up as part of but in the step plan, the Department of Public Works Director is given a annual grade, a bump every year, just like everybody else in the step plan. When we reviewed the step plan in the Budget Committee, we asked what happens if one of the workers isn't performing to the level that's expected, and it was said that you don't automatically get the bump. So therefore, it's, you know, somebody's reviewing the employees and saying, okay, yes, you've performed where we expect you to be for this next level, so, you know, you get the next bump. How does that work for the elected official? The Department of Public Works, it's an elected position. My understanding is that typically with an elected position, if people don't think they're doing their job, they don't get elected. So how does does this mean that the Director of Public Works will always get a bump? And it's not just, I'm picking on that because that's the obvious one right now, but it would go for any raise that's given to any elected official. Be it the moderator, Lord help me, not to make my neighbor mad, be it the tax collector, and any elected position. So how does that, does that mean that, hey, he just gave himself a guaranteed raise every year for 10 years?
Well, usually the way it works is, if the budget passes, they get a merit raise and a COLA raise. And of course, Pat would be subject to get that, of course. With this step plan, it's a one time to get these folks up to where, of course, we all know most of them are underpaid, and that's why we did this step plan.
Okay, so what you're saying is that's a one-time deal where we won't expect to see this coming budget season, we'll expect to see a number for COLA and merit. Is that what I'm understanding?
They won't get that this year. They're not gonna get
No, not this year. In the budget for next year, for the next season.
I can answer that, I think. There are a couple things to say. The first thing is, an elected official, the first measurement of their evaluation is really the voters re-electing them. That's saying that they've been re-elected, that the voters have just spoken and said they're the ones who are doing a good job. Second, if you go look at the department heads, and you go into personnel files, you find that the town administrator does an evaluation of all department heads. And it appears that it has historically happened in August. So those would be the two ways. And the criteria that the step plan talked about is they had to get a 3 or better in that step plan in all areas to get the merit raise. So that would fall into the case of the Department of Public Works. But I think the biggest people who are the evaluators are the voters.
Yeah, and again, but so am I understanding correctly that the step plan was a one-time, we're adjusting your level up, this is where it's at now. So for the coming year, it would be COLA and merit? Or is it? So, because I
wish I had his graph in front of me. I don't have it here. Explain it that they happen in a step program. It's not all at once.
So if I was a truck driver and I came in at step 2, and then next year I would be, if I did what I was supposed to do, I'd expect to go to step 3. The next year, step 4. So it's the same with the elected official that would go from step 1, wherever he's at now, next year to step 2, the next year to step 3.
Sure.
Contingent on a successful or a positive evaluation.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'd be rough too.
Larry Brown.
I think I can add a little bit to that, which is that under New Hampshire law, all employees who do not work under a contract are at-will employees, serve at the pleasure of the appointing authority, and may have their salaries adjusted without cause by the appointing authority. That means that irrespective of the step plan, if the expectations of the appointing authority are not met, that individual's salary may be adjusted. As to elected officials, in some venues, the elected official's salary is set by special warrant. Without that, I talked to the New Hampshire Municipal Association, and the answer is not clear. If a elected official has a salary of $10,000 and a budget of $20,000 and pays themselves $19,999, the selectmen are still signing the manifest. And I was told by the lawyer to whom I spoke that there would be a frank and serious discussion held. Those are the options.
Thank you, Larry. Anyone else? Larry Brown.
Thank you, I did not plan to do that. I was greatly encouraged by the comments made about the importance of 91A. 91A runs for 50 pages in my copy, and I wanted particularly to bring the board's attention to 91A4 Roman 3, which says, each public body or agency shall keep and maintain all, repeat, all governmental records in its custody at its regular office or place of business. And if you remember from your oath that you are working agreeably to the rules and regulations of this Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire. So I fully expect that every governmental record under the control of the town will be in custody of the town. Right?
Right.
Right. Other thing to consider, if you turn to 91A7, that's the end of it, not the easy part where it says how you go into an executive session. Any person aggrieved by a violation of this chapter may petition the Superior Court for injunctive relief. Without that petition, there is no formal complaint. The only misdemeanor charge that may be brought against a selectman or any individual in the town is if they have voluntarily, with knowledge and or malice, revealed information from a non-public session. Absent that.
Thank you, Larry. Very clear. Anyone else?
Sean, do we have to, you're on the ZBA, right? Did he get sworn in?
Did you get sworn in by Michelle today?
No, I didn't.
So Sean has to get sworn
I
in?
was out of state today.
So he's on the ZBA. What's that? You don't have the paperwork?
Let Michelle do. Michelle was gonna.
All right.
I'll see her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you see Michelle? Yeah. Okay, thanks, Sean.
Dennis
Yeah.
Dennis is
Do
sworn in
you
too.
have his paperwork?
To see Michelle. She has all the paperwork.
Sorry, Dennis.
I'll deal.
Annette,
It's a stupid question. When you order furniture, does it include furniture in here, like seats that you can sit on and not have your butt fall asleep? I know it's a dumb question, but
That's why we got the church.
but I mean, you know, we come to the meetings and everyone else is at home watching it nice and comfortable. Can't we have at least like that chair right there, something like that?
I asked for
Did
new
you?
chairs and I thought I was gonna be beheaded.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People
like
love
your
these
head on-
chairs. I don't know.
These are really
I
comfortable.
asked.
These are really
More expensive than they look.
These?
No.
Oh, I know they're
Yeah.
expensive, and I was just using that as an example, but
That's a good
these
example.
are sweet and nice, but they're just really,
If there's any company out there that has any chairs they'd like to donate,
exactly,
I'd
exactly.
be very grateful to take them. How's that? They're cushy.
Hey, I'll look up on that then. I will.
Awesome, thank you.
And sell you
Good
some.
idea.
Lots of them.
Lots.
okay, once again, anyone else? Say, I'll close the public comments. See if the board has any other business before us?
Nope. I'll make a motion to, adjourn, but we're gonna go into non-public.
Just for one thing. Should take 2 minutes.
Well,
I know, is that what?
Ryan,
Anyway, yeah.
yes, I got that.
Yeah.
Somehow log on the, friends?